G'day guys!
Welcome back to the Gear Cave. Today we're going to be changing this guitar up and stripping it back, taking
bare body,
and we're going to
take it back to plain wood
and re-dye it.
Refinish it. We're going to maybe do an inlay into the body with the CNC.
And we're going to road wear it.
Yeah, he wants this one road worn, so that'll be another experience because I haven't ever relicked a guitar. So, yeah, I have no idea what we're going to do. Josh is going to be guiding this video. I'm going to be the man behind the camera mostly.
So we're taking a swap. This last video was me mostly behind the camera. This time it's Dad. Yeah.
So anyway,
we'll
no further ado. Let's get into this video. We'll start pulling this apart and see what it turns into.
Okay, so we're going to take off everything that's on this guitar and only leave the body so we can sand it back and do what we want to do to it. So starting the strings. Alright, now we've got to get all this poly black paint off. So this is how it looks. Been a while since I've seen it like this.
And you can see where from the last video I've had to chew out some of that.
To make, because the
the new switch.
Yeah, the switch was
it didn't fit. So.
Too big because it was meant for a...
But I didn't have the flatbed router, so we'll clean that up with the router as well.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so what's the next stage, Josh? What are you going to do?
Our next stage is bringing it back to bones.
Yeah, so we really got to start stripping it back now, huh?
Yeah. All right.
It's also 32 degrees and 90% humidity outside of our studio. So enjoy that, Josh.
Yeah, you're going with me.
No, I do have to. I do have to. All right, let's go out in the sweltering heat.
All right, let's go.
I think at this stage, Joshy, we might explain to people the reason why we are actually doing all this butchering of Squire guitars is to learn some fundamental skills about producing our own.
So, do you...
Because we've got this rosewood over here that we've just bought. So, look at this lovely rosewood. So I've got enough blanks to build 4 pure rosewood guitars, some lovely green in there as well. So yeah, the workshop that we do have here with all these lovely tools I use in my career, in my business. However, we will be using it to produce guitars as well. So yeah, so all of this is very much a learning experience for Josh and I to produce our own awesome guitars. So anyway, you start off small, reverse engineer and alter other people's products, and then you make your own from what you've learned. That's the plan. Anyway, let's go, Joshy.
All right.
Prepared now?
Yeah.
Mask on.
So this is the front and back. That's the damage that this did to it. And before we do that,
we should weigh it just to sort of get a baseline.
Yeah.
So we've probably removed gauging from the telly that we did, which the whole body had about 120 grams worth of poly on it. We've probably removed maybe 40, 50 grams worth of poly. But
Yeah.
let's measure it before we can continue so we can get a baseline of how much weight we're removing out of the guitar. Not that it's important, it's just something to know.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, let's do that.
Let's go. Alright, so we're going to weigh the guitar now. So,
so what do we got?
1.652.
Yeah.
Alright, that's pretty light.
Now, it's very light, so we don't need to remove any weight out of that. We'll just clean up our previous hacking in the body with the router. We'll just make that nice and neat.
Yeah.
But we'll get all the rest of that black poly off.
And All right, let's go.
Also need here, Joshy, is our spindle sander.
Is it light?
Well, how you might want to take all the other tools off the top of it. It's not too heavy, but if it's too heavy for you, let me know and I'll... if it's too heavy, mate.
I can get it.
And that comes over there. Oh.
Alright.
Okay. In this horn here, it's quite a large spindle. You probably have to go down to the smaller one. And when you're sanding inside of these grooves, you've got to make sure you don't rub on the side of the neck very much because you will wear through that and you'll lose that timber. So maybe you stay away from the neck pocket and I'll do that area. But you might get the feel for it while you're doing it and it might be all right. So stay on the top horn, we'll drop down the side. So you can do the rest with this big one. But yeah, just stay away from the edge of I'll do all that so you don't destroy the neck pocket.
Alright.
Okay?
So I just stay away from the horns, basically.
Stay away from yeah, just do what you're comfortable with anyway and see how you go. Right. Let's go. It's the first time Joshy's been going to use this tool, so... So what's happening here, Josh, is because you're pausing, you're scalloping out sections.
Oh.
See that ripple? That's because you're kind of stopping. So you've got to move in a very smooth, fluid fashion.
Yeah.
Like that. And don't pause.
Yeah.
If you've got to stop, move it away from the sander. Yeah, give that another go. All right, so that's pretty smooth. Even though that looks lumpy, we are going to smooth it out on another machine, but this is very effective at getting off all the poly there. And it's also going to get rid of those really big, wide radiuses because I actually want to have this a little bit more on the sharper edges because it was really heavily rolled and it looked a bit ugly, I think. Anyway, so I'm going to hand it back over to you, Joshy. So looking again, which way are we going? This is spinning that way, so we're always going to be pulling the guitar towards you. Yeah? Now you see how you stopped?
Yeah.
And now you got a big divot. Do you want me to take over? We don't want big divots.
Yeah, I got a bit caught on.
Yeah, all right. Take over is just so we don't get sort of scallops out of the side of the guitar body. It's a very, very hard thing to do using machinery that, like grinders and spindle sanders and sanders in general, because they have a motion to them. And when you work on tools for a long time, you get used to how to use tools like this and how to avoid. It's just a practice and time learn thing, and of course age, you know. So I'm a tradesman, so I've spent a lot of time doing these sorts of things on various materials. So I kind of already have that feel. This is something you will learn, but for the video's sake and for this guitar's sake, I'll just continue on and just so I'll get all the material off, just so we have a nice end result. But future projects, Joshy, you will have to spend more time and learn all these things, yeah? So he wants it, the bevel, the armrest bevel, to come at the top because that's where your actual arm goes. So I'm going to just hand sculpt that around there. So that'll actually be a rounded section. It's going to be a very custom Strat, this thing. So it's going to be a little bit sharper on the edges, a bit smaller, and a custom bevel. And then I'll sand out that back relief as well.
So it's not as sharp.
Yeah, well, I'll do that with the orbital, or you will do that with the orbital sander in the final sanding.
Yep.
You will shape that out. Because you don't want to sand that too much, you just want to take that harsh edge off.
Yeah.
The belt sander to do with the chamfer was a bit too hard, so we'll do it on the stroke sander. All right, let's have a go. I moved the chamfer, I actually went straight that way and then molded the rest around so it's a smooth transition, and rubbed out made the new chamfer blend into the old chamfer as much as possible. I cleaned out the belly cut. Joshy wants to soften that through there. He can do that himself in the next sanding operation. And I cleaned up the remainder of the top. The most of it looked like there was a veneer on top that I was rubbing off from the initial body shaping, but it's just that darkness is remnants of the polyurethane that was on there. The same thing happened with my Telecaster when I was taking off that stuff and I was getting yellow spots through it. It's just either the primer or the effect from the polyurethane that was on there. So Joshy's got to sand that till it goes to that color. There is no veneer. It's a 5-piece body. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6.
Yeah.
As you can see that. And so the same as I did in my telly, we'll do a dark right round the border so you can't see the pieces of the body. So yeah, we'll go dark right round there. And then depending on what colours Joshy wants to choose, we'll do whatever colours he wants, I suppose. And then once it's all finished and it's beautiful, then we'll beat it up, which sucks. But it is what it wants. Maybe you want it. Wait till we finish it. You may choose to keep it and just let it wear in naturally, which I would suggest. Anyway, so he has very much a custom shape Stratocaster. That in there will clean up only a little bit. It is borderlining the edge of that. So if we were to cut through there, we'd actually cut into that cavity.
Yeah.
And we don't want to do that. So we will just get the router and just clean that up because of our last bit of butchering before we had a router. Yeah, anyway, Joshy, it's all yours. Go ahead and sand away. How are you going there? Sanding those corners. See how those corners are still yellow?
Yeah.
That means there's still polyurethane on them. So you need to sand them back until they are the same colour as the cinder around them. So whatever radius you create, you need to make that radius on those corners exactly the same all the way through.
Yep.
So get all that yellow off. Because that's the polyurethane leaving its mark. And we won't be able to stain it. That's the problem. So if we were to stain blue through there, for instance, that horrible yellow will remain. Because you can't stain into the plastic polyurethane coat.
Oh.
So it all has to come off. Every last little bit. The body is predominantly done, but Joshy wants to put some hex shapes in the top, similar to my Telecaster. But overall, what we have done is done a nice smooth contour for the belly relief. We've brought that arm bevel around so it's more vertical, not just from the side. Can't complain. Fender's sold millions and millions of guitars like that and been recognised as an amazing design. However, we feel that it needs to be changed. So that's what we've done. Anyway, the body's come up really, really nice. It's really, really light. Probably a little too light, to be honest. Gone too far the other way. However, the shape of it's excellent. It feels really nice. It's really smooth. All the contours, the bevels the edge radiuses are much nicer than those big domey things that they do put on Strats. Yeah, it's nice. So what we're going to do is take a photo of it, dimension it up in the computer to make sure we know where our pattern's going to go. I've got to do 2 cut files. Because we've got a big heavy bevel here, all the pink stuff is going to be the first cut file, which will cut on the flats. And then I'll move the CNC and we'll cut the lower side ones, which I'll have to obviously drop the router head lower to cut off the bevel. We'll cut on the bevel. We have set the files up for the CNC to cut. So we've got some red cedar that Joshy wants to use as the inlays. And I've lined it up and we've got the program ready to run. So we're about to press go, essentially. So we're going to cut the shapes and then we'll router the guitar body.
Okay.
Do you think of your block of Swiss cheese there?
That's all right. Yeah, that's pretty good so far.
Come up pretty good?
Yeah.
All right, so what's your next stages?
Well, gluing in these hexagon.
Okay, you want to
shapes.
show the crowd what you've got here, maybe in this box which is out of shot. All right, so there are all those pieces we've cut before. Now, one thing you need to consider, Joshy, are you going to be running the grain of the Western Red Cedar blocks in line with the grain in the timber of the body? Or are you going to randomly mix them all up so the grain goes all random different places? Depends what you want it to look like.
Oh, I'm going to go widthways.
So you're going to put the grain running 90 degrees
Yes.
parallel to, adjacent
Yep.
to the grain that's in the guitar. So you're going to do what I did, basically 90-degree grain direction change.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Now make sure you put plenty of glue in those blocks. You need it to squeeze out.
So it's all the pieces are dry now, so we're going to take it over to the drum sander and sand the top off.
All right, let's go.
Yep.
So, Josh, you need to wind that down so it's not going to just grind the bejesus out of them. Yep, keep going. All right, Josh, you hold it up, show us the look.
So that's what it turned out at the top.
All right, so we've got to do the armrest now, haven't we? The bevel there.
Yeah.
Back onto the,
Belt sander.
yeah, what's its proper name?
Can't remember.
Stroke sander.
Stroke sander.
Alrighty, how does that look?
Pretty good.
Yeah, so I've also, while you were gone, I just did the bum of it. So it just needs a little bit of putty in it. So we'll go to sand. There's just a few little pockets here and there, so a bit of putty, but the rest of them are really tight, which looks great. And I like the fact that you went this way with it.
Yeah.
And they're all different grains, so that it makes them pop out anyway. So if you had them all mixed up, that would look cool too, but I do like that. That's good. All right. So what you're going to have to do is use the orbital sander to get all the sanding marks out that we've just done with the bigger machinery.
Yep.
After you've got it all back to where it was before we did the engraving or the shapes and stuff. Whoops, just chopped your head off by the camera. Then we need to do a nice hand sand, not a handstand, a hand sand.
Yeah.
And that'll be all over the entire body. So finish off, so I think there's 180 on that, and then once you finish that, then we'll go to 220, then maybe 320 or whatever we've got in the 300s for the final sand.
Isn't it 240?
Well, you got 220, 240, whatever we got. There's two different grades. Sandpaper comes in both those grades, whatever we have in stock. And then we'll go up to around about the 300 for the final sand, and then we'll stain.
All right.
All right.
Let's get to it.
Where's your dust mask? Where we're at now, so I've taken over a little bit of sanding just for the finer details. Been sanding the final one with, what is this, 360. Done all the edge radiuses. They're really nice and smooth now and consistent all the way around the body on both sides. It's very nice and smooth. In there could be done a little bit more, which you're going to finish off and doing, because all it needs to be done now is another 10 minutes worth of hand sanding, just to get a little more consistent sanding over there. But what we're going to do first, we're going to wet the whole guitar down. So what that's going to do is swell the grain. And so a lot of this will go fuzzy. And then when we sand it off again, it makes it more stable from when we're rubbing all the dyes in, because it's not going to swell up from the dyes, because we're going to swell the grain first with water, and then we're going to dry it off, and then you will do your final sand, and then we'll get to stain. Cool?
Yep.
All right. Just rub it over the guitar,
Nice.
which you will sort of see the colour tones pop out in the timber. Geez, Josh, this would be all right just blonde, you know.
It really would.
It's pretty, man. You sure you want to burst this?
I don't know, man. It would be really pretty if you put just a clear coat on it.
Yeah, but look, man, it's going to be cool no matter what you do.
Alright, we'll put the burst on it, because I really wanted a burst guitar, because I don't have one. Not yet.
All right, so once again, all this water on this guitar, we're not saturating the guitar, we're just sort of wetting those open grains on the top, on the surface, and that's just going to swell them, and then we'll quickly knock it off with your 360. Look at those body lines, there's a lot of pieces in there. 1, 2, 3, 4,
5, 6.
5, I guess 6 for that one. That's all right, that looks interesting.
Seems pretty nice.
It seems pretty nice. So it's a bit fuzzy there.
Okay. Well, it's a bit fuzzy behind in this section.
Yeah, fuzzy there. Just make sure the sides are done nicely. That's pretty good. All right, the back. Oh, it's fuzzy as there.
Yeah.
Fuzzy there. Fuzzy there. Pretty fuzzy there. You got to do the whole back.
Whoops.
All right, I reckon that's pretty good.
Would you look at that? It's amazing. Just grab the camera for a...
All right, guys, what do you think?
Pretty good. Leave a comment in the comments, because if you like it, let us know what you think of it.
Yeah. All right, there's always a drama, and the drama is that doesn't look very purple, does it? Nor does that, nor does that. It kept a bit of purple in there. Doesn't matter how much I put onto this arrogant blah 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 blah. I'm really actually quite upset about it. I can't get colour to sit into the end grain. It just absolutely refuses. Sucks in and goes brown. As you can see, like it's a perfect line. So it just refuses to accept any colour. I've put purple on it. I've put black on it. I've put green on it. I've put blue on it. I've gone back to purple and I get brown every time. So what I'm going to try is putting the block coat on it and then putting purple on there again. If that doesn't work, it's just too bad it's staying this way. Yeah, I'm really not happy. I kind of want to throw it in the fire. Yeah, I do. It's really pissed me off. However, we have to live and learn through annoyances like this. It just contradicts. Look, I admit I don't know what I'm doing, but however, I put purple on there and it goes brown. Yet the purple on the face, it's just the difference between end grain and the face grain, I guess. But it's not even purple. I'll show you what I mean. I'll put some more purple on there. It'll go straight back to that colour. Been so annoyed I didn't even bother with gloves. Now I've got purple fingers. So check this out. Beats me. Let me dry it out. What the hell? So guys, is the camera on me? So guys, if anybody knows a solution for that, please tell me. I'd love to know. But at the moment, I'm just going to experiment. So I'm going to put the seal coat on, the very light seal coat, and want to let that dry. And then I'm going to try to put the purple over it again. If it doesn't work, it's just the way it's going to stay. It's so frustrating. It's like the perfect band right around. At least it's not messy. So if you get stuck with that bronzy colour on the side, it's not the end of the world. But it would look better purple, like my fingers.
That went black.
Oh my gosh.
That's fine. Better than... Alright, we'll definitely have to learn.
Look at that, from the seal coat.
Horrible light brown to black to now purple again.
Well, it's gone to pretty close to the face colour. It's purple. Just bizarre. Anyway, I'm happy again.
Yay.
I don't want to smash it on the ground and jump around and have a big tantrum. Well, I kind of do. No, it's all right. It's back to good. All right, so I've given a little bit of a sand with the 360 that's worn. So probably really sanding at about 600. It's very fine. I'm trying to keep my handprints off this because I don't want any weird things happening in the clear coat. Just taking some excess dust off there from the sanding. I can't believe that's all the colour just came out. That's wow. Well, there's lots to learn. I can't believe that. Just
Right, time for that.
amazing.
Okay. Oh, look at that.
Alright, very light coat to start with. Alright.
That's beautiful.
That is pretty cool.
We did sand it back. I noticed on the back was a little too thin, so I hit it with another couple of clear coats. And then Joshy has decided to go with a full gloss guitar. So what I've done now, I've just come over here and sanded out a few more imperfections. Those are just mild things. I've given it 2 more clear coats, sanded it back one more time, and now we're doing the final clear coat. So this final clear coat, after this dries, we will just buff the guitar with a polish, with a buffing wheel, and then you have a nice gloss guitar. So yeah, more color, it makes sense. It looks really great with the satin finish, but it's a more modern color scheme, and it does look a lot better gloss. So if this was more of a vintage vibe, definitely the satin hand rub would be the go. But for this one, we're going to do the Nitro gloss. So yeah, all right, I'll get on to the final spray right now.
All right, that's it.
Alright.
That's it.
It's last coat done.
That's it. We'll let that dry for till the end of the day, about 6 hours, and then we'll give it a buff.
Alright. Right. It's nice. Looks like glass. Like you said before, Dad. Looks like glass.
Wow, it's just yeah, it's surpassed my expectations, especially at one stage there when we were doing the staining. I was going to give up on the whole project, but
yeah.
because that color wasn't taking. But
And then you just sprayed that.
and the color
little
came
bit of
straight
clear
back. That
on
was
it.
amazing. So we learnt a lot with that one, didn't we? Yeah, it's really come up beautiful after the buff. The shine is pretty incredible. So let's put it back together and see how it comes out all assembled.
Alright.
Wow, Joshy, that's just awesome, man. Time to put it back together, eh, buddy?
Yep.
All right, show us. Show us what it's going to look like. Came out extremely well. It exceeded many of our expectations. We did learn a lot yet again with the dyeing and the colouring of the body. And with this time, the colour on the top of the guitar came out really well, including the blending of the colours. But on the edge, on the end grain, it sucked all the colour away over and over again. We went from the purple, I even used black on it and dark blue
and green.
and it sucked the colour into the end grain, leaving it light brown essentially. And no matter what we did, we couldn't get the dark colour. And I almost gave up on the guitar, to be honest. I was so disgruntled because the top came out so beautifully, and we moved to the lighter area where the natural light was, and then we saw the devastation around the perimeter of the guitar. I was like, oh no, what are we going to do? So we kind of pressed ahead, and then you just hit it with the seal coat to see what would happen. And bang, the colour came back.
And we're just like, whoa.
It was a crazy, yeah. So that was a big learning experience. What else did we do? We reshaped essentially the whole guitar. I took off about 5mm all around to get rid of that big dopey round radius that Stratis have. I don't mind it on, I typically don't mind it ever, but when I was actually working on the guitar, I realised, oh, that's really ugly, that big domey border around it. So we straightened it up and we sanded off most of that radius and gave it a nice gentle radius on the top and back corners. Turn it over, Josh. We also smoothed out the belly cut, and I brought it up just a little bit over the horn, because I had to get rid of that hard ridge line, and just smoothed it out, and that is so much better than the standard Strat carve.
It is.
And with the top carve, I've moved it around because oddly enough, the Strats, their carve is kind of from there.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know anybody who plays a guitar reaching around like that. You come over the top. So what we did was I actually chamfered that off and then blended it around to the original carve. So it's much more ergonomic.
And it feels better too.
Yeah. So overall, everything we did to this particular instrument improved it significantly.
Yeah.
Learned a lot with the dyeing. The results of that colour and
it's just spectacular.
I'm happy with how this turned out, but it wasn't my intention to have it just one colour all over. It did actually have a burst, but because I didn't seal it and just the different timber, the dyes reacted differently. This thing worked out really, really well. So if you want to see another one done, we're going to do another one of these. It's going to be the butterscotch one. We're going to strip down and refinish and remodel and do all the things that we've done to both of these. What we've learnt from these two guitars, we're going to do to that one, but even more. And guys, if you dig what we're doing, please let us know. Do a like and subscribe.
And put it in the comments below.
Yeah, let us know what you think. So anyway, we're going to wrap this video up because I reckon it's really long as it is. And yeah, give us some feedback, guys, and let us know what you want to see. If you want me to vandalise something else, let me know.
Yeah.
Cool, guys. Thanks for checking us out.